Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon, and on today's little project here, we're in the garage. We're working on the wife's Chevy Cruze. It's a 2015 Chevy Cruze, got the 1.4 turbo in it, and we're going to be replacing the valve cover here. I've just replaced this valve cover here recently, but it's leaking oil. I get these valve covers here from like O'Reilly, AutoZone. I think this one may have been from AutoZone. I'm not real sure, but they're all made in China, and I always have problems with them leaking for some reason. I have problems with the gaskets on them leaking, and I don't know why. I mean, I've tried to snug the bolts up a little bit tighter, and it just doesn't seem to help. Usually the main reason you got to replace these valve covers anyway is this here. I believe this is a PVC valve. It goes bad in them. It'll start sucking air through there if it's bad, and your car will start running rough and idling rough and stuff. And the valve cover I'm going to be replacing it with is this one right here. This will be the second time I ordered this kind of a valve cover. It's made in Poland. The gasket's made a little bit different, and it seems just like a better quality valve cover, and it's actually cheaper, I believe, if you buy it offline versus going to AutoZone. I believe I ordered that valve cover off of ZZPreformance. Pretty sure where that came from. So we're going to go ahead and get that valve cover slapped on here, and hopefully that fixes our oil leak there for us. Alrighty guys, so the first thing when you're starting to replace your valve cover, the first thing you want to do is disconnect your battery. Go ahead and disconnect the negative 10mm socket on that bolt. Then the next thing we'll do is go ahead and pop this cover off of here. It just pops up, has some clips on the bottom. Right there, and it has some up top here, but the top ones on this one are broke. Set that to the side. Go ahead and pull your dipstick out, wipe it off, get it out of the way. Then we'll go ahead and take the oil cap off. Plug here going to your coil pack. It's got a little clip on it. So it's got this little purple piece here. You got to pull it out. Then this piece here is broken, but usually you'll push down on this, and then your plug should come off there fairly easy. Let me just take this one out of the way here. Set that somewhere so I don't lose it. That plug's out of the way. Okay, so now we need to go ahead and get this coil pack out here. These two bolts on the coil pack, they're a T30. Like, I don't know what you'd call that, a star head, I guess, a star head bed. I don't really know. Don't know the exact name for it. Go ahead and loosen these up here. Be really careful pulling this coil pack up out here. Just kind of pop that side up, and then come over here and try to pop this side up, because you can break these. I have broke those off before. Go ahead and put your bolts somewhere, maybe up there so you don't lose them. And then the next thing we need to do here is go ahead and start taking the bolts loose on the valve cover itself. That would be a E10 socket, which is like another star head socket, I guess, but I call those a star head bit, and these would be a star head socket, I reckon. So then go ahead and pop this up off of here. Sometimes you'll have to take something like a screwdriver, just barely pry up on it real easy. Have to go ahead and get your wiring harness out of the back there. Then here's that valve cover. The gasket is still stuck on there in place. Now the next thing we're going to do is just take a rag and wipe up all this oil and sludge. After you get the oil mostly cleaned up, usually there's a little bit of silicone. You're supposed to have silicone where the head and the timing cover meet right here. So go ahead and make sure you guys get that silicone off of there if there's any left. Alright guys, after you get the head all cleaned up there where your valve cover is going to be setting, these two spots here where your your timing cover meets with your head right there and right there, you're supposed to put a little dab of silicone. That way it doesn't leak. Gasket maker, silicone, whatever. Not really silicone, but I guess it is. It's gasket maker, seal it. I use this high temp red gasket maker. That's what I'm using on this. And I'm just going to take, and where I put that little dab, I'm just kind of going to smear it a little bit right there. I don't want it real thick. Alright, get that silicone, the gasket maker on there, I guess, not silicone. Get that on there, and go ahead and put your valve cover back down in here. Kind of got to wrestle it around all those wires there. I usually like to take all these bolts here in this valve cover and just run them down all by hand, just kind of where they're just barely starting to tighten up. I'm going to tighten these down to spec at 71 inch-pounds. So I'll get this little torque wrench out right here that I have, and we'll go ahead and tighten those bolts up, and we'll go ahead and tighten them up in order of how the book says to do it. So I'll go ahead and show you guys the picture, and then we'll tighten them up. This is how you're supposed to tighten your bolts down, the tightening sequence on the 1.4 liter engine valve covers. So there it is if you guys don't have the book. 71 inch-pounds for the valve cover bolts, and for the 2 bolts that's in your coil pack that holds it in there. So we'll go ahead and get these bolts here tightened down real fast, and we'll get the bolts put in the valve cover, or not the valve cover, but the coil pack, and we'll get this finished up real quick here. Go ahead and put your coil pack back down in here. If you guys want to torque these bolts here to spec, they're 71 inch-pounds also. After you get them bolts tightened up, go ahead and put your coil pack plug back on there. Go ahead and put your dipstick back in there. Your oil plug back on. Go ahead and snap your cover back into place. To get your valve cover all back together there, get that all done and over with, go ahead and put your battery cable back on there, and you should be good to go. Well, this pretty well wraps up this here little video, so I hope it was somewhat helpful to you. And as always, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Hope you can hit that big thumbs up down there for me. We'll catch you guys on the next one.